Hey guys, Jared here, and today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Google Nexus 6P smartphone from Huawei. You won't want to miss this. Alright, so first off, the unboxing. The box itself is made of cardboard, which is recyclable. Inside, we're greeted with the letter P, which I assume is from 6P. On the other side of the card is some basic information regarding the basic physical parts of the device. Inside the box, we have the phone handset itself, a USB Type-C charging cable, and a USB Type-C plug for charging straight from a wall outlet. There's also a Google Play 90-day free trial, with the required tool to open the SIM tray, a safety information booklet, and a USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable so that you can plug the phone in directly to your computer. The Nexus 6P was released in October 2015, along with the Nexus 5X. The Nexus 6P is available in 3 different colors: aluminium, graphite, and frost. I have the graphite one here in this video. The body is made of aluminium, which gives it a really nice smooth yet strong feel in the hand. It feels like it's well built, and it doesn't feel cheap and weak like the 5X does, which I noticed when I had a chance to play with it in store. We'll start off with the physical aspects of the device itself. It's quite big and by far the largest smartphone I've ever used. Coming from a 4.3-inch HTC Desire HD, it's quite a big change for me. The 6P weighs 178 grams, yet still feels quite light due to the equal weight distribution over the large space. On top, we find a 3.5mm headphone jack. All that's on the left side of the phone is the nano SIM card tray. The bottom of the phone only has the USB Type-C port for charging and transferring data. Over on the right, we have the power button, which has a rough gripped texture with the volume up and down buttons underneath, which is a lot smoother to differentiate between the power button. Both buttons are in a pretty friendly position for your fingers regardless of the hand you're holding the phone in. However, I rarely found myself ever using the power button on the phone, as I primarily use the fingerprint scanner to display the screen most of the time. The front features a 5.7-inch wide quad HD AMOLED display, which is a resolution of 2560 by 1440 or 1440p, with an aspect ratio of 16:9, resulting in an incredible 518 pixels per inch. The display is also using Gorilla Glass 4. There's also 2 front-facing speakers, which actually sound pretty decent unless you put them on the maximum volume, in which case they get pretty bad. There's a notification LED, which can be used once you enable it. I'll leave a link in the video description showing how to enable the notification LED. Finally, there's also an 8-megapixel 2.8 aperture selfie camera on the front, capable of recording video at 1080p at 30 FPS. Over on the back, we have the fingerprint scanner, as well as the rear camera, which is a 12.3 megapixel 2.0 aperture infrared laser assisted autofocus with dual flash camera capable of shooting 4K video at 30 FPS. The antenna bands also show around all sides of the device, so that's worth keeping in mind. Personally, I don't mind this and like how the effect looks. Now onto the internals of the phone. The Nexus 6P makes use of a Qualcomm Snapdragon 810 version 2.1, which is a 2 GHz octa-core 64-bit CPU. For the GPU, we've got an Adreno 430, and for the memory, there's 3 GB of LPDDR4 RAM available. To power all of this, we have a 3450 mAh battery, which Google claims is rated for 10 hours of video playback, or 100 hours of audio playback, or 440 hours of standby time. In my own testing, I only needed to charge the device about twice per week. However, I'm not a very heavy user. I managed to get 5 days of battery life from my very first charge with the Nexus 6P, which was very exciting. A lot of this is likely owing to Doze, which is a new feature in Android 6.0 which helps improve power management. I also found that I was using just 2% of battery overnight while sleeping for approximately 8 hours. The 6P supports fast charging, meaning you should be good to go for up to 7 hours with just 10 minutes of charging. I've run the phone down to 1% battery remaining and then fully charged it to give you an idea of how long it took to complete with a relatively new battery. While this is definitely not a perfect test, as I did need to power the screen on very quickly once per minute in order to record the battery level shown, I think it does serve as a good approximate average. While the test was performed, background applications were closed and the phone was not otherwise used. After the charge gets to about 70%, we start to see diminishing returns, where charging starts to get slower and slower until we reach the 100% mark. Overall, it took 95 minutes to charge from 1% to 100% with the included wall outlet charger. It took just 36 6 minutes to reach the 50% charge mark. In regards to wireless connectivity, the 6P supports 802.11a, b, g, n, and AC Wi-Fi standards with dual band 2.5 GHz and 5 GHz available, so basically all the common Wi-Fi options as you'd expect. In addition to this, it also has the newer Bluetooth 4.2 and NFC is also available. Aside from the colors, the only other differentiating factor of the device is the internal storage size, which comes in 32GB, 64GB, or 128GB variants. So with all of these great sounding specs, how is the phone to actually use? Overall, I've found the device extremely responsive and have not yet encountered any kind of lag situations, which is obviously due to these killer specs and clean Android experience that the Nexus series of devices are well known for. Of course, being a Nexus device, we can also expect relatively quick updates and newer features sooner when compared to other Android devices out there on the market. The fingerprint scanner has been fantastic to use. It works very fast and allows me to unlock the phone very easily in under a second with minimal effort, and I haven't had any problems with it. It's been really good to use. I've noticed that when I go to pull the phone out of my pocket, my hand goes into the required grip to place the finger on the scanner straight away, so that by the time the phone is actually out of my pocket and in front of my face, it's already been successfully unlocked. It can be a bit inconvenient if the phone is laying down on a flat surface, as in order to reach the scanner, you have to pick up the device every time in order to unlock the phone. However, you can set a secondary method to unlock, such as by setting a pin, which can be used as an alternative, so it's not really the end of the world. With the stand that I use on my desk, I can reach behind the phone with my finger and unlock it, as the stand doesn't cover up the fingerprint scanner, which is quite nice. The stand I'm using here is the Cooler Master Jas Mini. I'll leave a link to it in the video description in case you're interested. The phone is also quite thin, which surprised me considering the specs and the battery size, although I suppose it's a bit easier to spread all of these components out as the device is so big. The size has definitely taken some getting used to. Speaking of the phone being laid down on a flat surface, initially I was quite worried that while putting it down, the glass on the back which covers the camera might accidentally break if you put it down too hard. The camera bump didn't actually end up being anywhere near as big as I thought it would be before actually buying the device. However, I'm still quite careful when I put the phone down flat, as the glass bump does come into contact with the surface that you're putting it down on, and I did see some early reports of people complaining that this back glass was getting easily smashed, so it's definitely something to keep in mind when you put the device down. It seems like a bit of a weird design choice, to be honest, but it does look alright, and I guess we just have to be careful when putting it down. The rear-facing camera on the phone is excellent. The photos it takes are definitely the best I've ever seen from a mobile device. The same camera is also used in the Nexus 5X, so if the camera is your priority but you're after a bit of a cheaper phone, the 5X may be an alternative option for you. The camera itself is also very fast in taking pictures. However, when taking a constant stream of photos, I have noticed the device warm up a bit with HDR enabled, which is expected based on the additional image processing taking place. HDR does a pretty good job at making the photos look a whole lot nicer. Here are some example photos with and without HDR. As you should be able to see, primarily in the shots taken at night, HDR reduces the visible noise by a noticeable amount, making the photos look a lot better. In conclusion, the Nexus 6P is a larger sized phone, but it does pack the specs and battery life to make this worthwhile. The clean Android experience with no noticeable lag thanks to the amazing internal specs makes for a great user experience, and the absolutely amazing battery life keeps it going for what feels like forever. So what did you guys think of the Nexus 6P? Leave a like on the video if you thought it was pretty good, and make sure you subscribe for future videos like this one.